We are standing here along the banks of the city's vital river, Umkhrah. The new development has taken place, which cannot be missed out. This newly installed fresh fencing. The government of Meghalaya, under the pilot project, have initiated the fencing of river bodies, and the proposal is very simple: to stop the people from throwing garbage directly to the river. But as I look this fence, a striking irony comes to mind. Shillong is on its journey to become a smart city. We talk about advanced infrastructure, digital solution and urban growth. Yet here we are spending substantial public funds on barriers designed to enforce that should be, quite frankly, basic civic sense. The very need of this fence, the millions being spent to remind citizens not to treat their rivers as dumping grounds, highlights a fundamental challenge. It suggests a lack of ingrained civic responsibility, a disconnect between the grand vision of a smart city and the everyday actions of its residents. Shillong is blessed with natural beauty, but its river, like the Umkhrah and Umshyrpi, have long suffered from pollution. Reports from the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board consistently show high levels of contamination, with domestic sewage and solid waste being major culprits. Prohibitory orders have been issued, yet the problem persists. These fences are a physical manifestation of that struggle, a costly attempt to curb a habit that should ideally be non-existent.
From time to time, my officer keep having this awareness program to ensure that nobody should throw rubbish in the Umkhrah River. But it's still there, so we have decided from the government. So let us do some pilot projects to start some fencing in the portion where it's free of cost, from the bridge to the river and from the open space. So as we have seen that most of the area has been fenced, which is around more or less around 6 to 8 kilometers in total. So now projects, some part is complete, some part is still under the works, under progress. So that is one of the reasons, to avoid throwing rubbish, garbage on the river. After awareness, and nobody's listen up to the mark as we expect. So we have to spend something in order to improve the Shillong city as well. And at the same time, I'm having a full confidence. It seems our people is now understanding the importance of cleanliness. So I request personally from my as urban minister, from myself also, let us work together, as I used to request from time to time. Let us keep our city clean, neat and clean. And yes, maybe at the initial stage, little bit problem, but I think we will be able to come up to the marks. But not to spend all the time. Maybe this is a fast pilot project, so hopefully I think people will learn from this. Okay, now government is really aware that we should maintain cleanliness. That is the reason why we fence all these few stretches in around Shillong city, all along around the river within the Shillong city.
Government, including through the Urban Affairs Department and the Shillong Board, are pretty much concerned about these rivers that flow through our city, particularly Umkhrah and Umshyrpi. There's another river also, Umkhrah also. We are also concerned about that also. Although like the pollution level in Umkhrah is still not as much as Umkhrah and Umshyrpi. So because of these concerns, we find like a lot of salt waste is being thrown into the river at certain stretches, at certain points. Okay, so this may be due to a low level of awareness. I won't say total lack, because people are aware that they should not throw garbage on the river, should not throw garbage in the open spaces. But there's a little level of awareness, that is still requires to be improved upon. Okay, so while we are making people aware, while we are requesting people to cooperate with us, then we thought while this awareness is going on, we could take up some immediate interventions to prevent solid waste from being disposed into the rivers. Hence we come up with this fencing of vulnerable stretches, of vulnerable points of the two rivers, of the three rivers actually. Okay, so we started the work. Now it's almost about 70-75% completed. We are expecting to complete it very soon by October or so. These stretches we fence were recommended by zonal task force committees, which were constituted under the aegis of the Deputy Commissioner. Okay, so each committee is headed by an additional Deputy Commissioner. They have gone for inspection in these stretches. They have consulted the stakeholders, the Rangbashnong, the inhabitants of those areas. Okay, and there were other teams also in the committees, like from pollution, from municipal, from urban, like that. PUD. So they recommended about 10 kilometers of stretch to be fenced. Okay, so while making the project, we again like revisit those stretches, and we come up with about 6 kilometers of very vulnerable stretches. Okay, because the dress, although they are vulnerable, but then the level of vulnerability is not as high as these 6 kilometers. So hence we took up this thing. The total cost of everything about 8 crores. This fencing like is an intermediate intervention, like I said. Okay, because while we are making people aware, while we are waiting for people to be aware, some intervention has to be made immediately, to at least reduce the pollution levels of these rivers.
6 kilometer of stretch, 8 crore rupees being invested in the project just to fence the vulnerable places of river banks. We have listened to Deputy Chief Minister, who is also in charge for the urban, and to the Executive Engineer of Shillong Municipal Board. The question remains, how much government need to spend more just to teach a basic civic sense, or this spending of money will continue? I'm Manna Sangma with Arsan Sakume for HubNews.